Well, you know what they say, when it doesn't go to plan? Here is the answer. Well, Hermes have just delivered a parcel, or Evru, or whatever the hell they are called now. Here we go again. Well, I think this is what it is. It's 4 wagons shoved in a jiffy bag that's in a crushed pot. Well, they were advertised as Hornby, and they look like Bachmann MEA bodies on them. I don't know where they are because there's no marking, but as you can see, they haven't survived the impact crushing or whatever the hell Hermes done to them, but they're Hornby chassis that have been cut and shut, as we used to say in the car trade. They sawn the chassis in half, shortened it and glued it on, well, attempted to glue it on, and it there. Guess I'll be sending these back. Yeah, even that one's not. I mean, 1, they're badly made, and 2, they've been destroyed in the shipping. It looks like, I don't know what chassis they are. But it just seems odd. Why would you have MEA body unless they're kit ones? I don't know, they might be Cambrian kit. Well, best I send him some photographs. It's late night repair shop. The Gundersons took the bottom bit off. There's super glue everywhere. I've had to file it and attach it best I could. And then put this little collar round. Hopefully that'll hold. If it doesn't, well, we're screwed. Just the likelihood of replacing that part is 0. Getting that in the UK. I'm about to file all that recess back because that sits in there. And there's not a lot of clearance when you put that there. And we've also been doing, these are a pain in the arse. They have a clipped in base, can't get out, nearly broke it. No pins on this one. Bit of hot melt glue to stop the raw weights rattling around. So I've got to drill that one out, reattach that, and put one of them on. Well, it's got 2 chances of temporarily fit the screw because it's too long. It's stressed the top. I tried it on this one first because that's where it came out of one of them. Obviously wasn't screwed in all the way. I even cut one of these down to make a washer and a spacer, but it still wasn't enough. So we've now stressed the pin on that one. The alternative, I suppose, is to cut the pin off and put a longer screw in and screw all the way through and use the end of the screw as the pin. That one's a bit tight, you have to put it on at an angle and then down. But I suppose this is the disadvantage of the plastic kit ones versus the nice metal ones. But we'll give it a run. Got brake wheel missing there as well. But a few little bits to do on it. But it can go in the box for now. Again, this is something that's virtually impossible to replace or source over in the UK. and in my efforts to try and remove the fixing plate at the bottom, we took a chunk out of the side, which is where the spring may fall down and catch, I don't know. But we've had to drill that little hole in the middle because obviously they stupidly put two other holes in the way, which would screw up. Trying to make a hole in there, you'd have to glue a piece of plastic over there to give you a solid base to fit a larger hole in. So that's our small hole, and we've fitted a piece of small square stock into the hole, and then a smaller tube inside of that, which is then glued all in place to hold it there. So that will act as a reducing bush so that there's no slop. So small screw straight through there, and then a nut on the top, and if I can find a washer, one of those as well. That should get this chassis back running, and hopefully I can save the day there, excuse the low light, and get that one going again. So that will be our haul repaired. So there we have it. Just had to clean out the bushing with the glue, so I just ran a 1mm drill bit through it. I think it's 1mm. And as you can see, can't see that from the track side. Just put a little dab of glue on there just to act as some thread lock, but I had to screw the screw all the way through, so it's biting on the bushing. So just need to get your pliers and bend up the horns. So another one fixed. Well, you can barely see the stain. Can you see that plastic's a bit of a funny colour? So we have completed the first 3D resin print, and I haven't fitted it or obviously done anything other than wash it and cure it. It is, once the legs are cut off, you can see there and there, it's a NEM pocket, so a coupling should go in there, and it's got the lugs to fit underside of a wagon to adapt it to a NEM fitting. So you can imagine how much resin I use just making a little thing like that. It's the water washable one I went for. It's a 500g bottle, which is 500ml. It comes about that full. It's now about that full. So where did that much go if I made only that? Well, a top tip of the day, if you ever decide to go into the world of 3D printing and you want a funnel to go into your bottle when you return the unused resin back to the bottle, do not buy one of these useless pieces of shit. It had the paper in a filter, a bit like a coffee filter. In there, I'm decanting the fluid back in. It's filled up. I'm obviously careful I'm not going to overflow. And I just moved the tank away, I let it drain down, didn't touch it, and it went with the weight of the fluid, and pissed it out all over the printer and the table, and dribbling down the unit onto the carpet. Don't buy one of them POSs. Well, I thought this was going to be the little positive out of the disaster. I just, instead of getting my flush cutters, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a little wiggle. The bottom ones come off. I'll just stick my thumb in there and nick them off. So I don't know whether that's the reason why, because it hadn't quite fully cured underneath. There was a little flap under here that wasn't quite cured. So I don't know whether this lump wasn't quite cured either. I'll give it 35 seconds. in the scaffolding. So I just laid it on its side, give it another 30 seconds just to set this piece underneath here and peel off the useless bit, and it's now on the piss. The underside was as well, so I don't know whether there was a slight unevenness, but I don't know whether I've just bent the stem or whether it is a fault with levelling. I did level the bed before I the build plate. So yeah, we'll have to revisit that again, but obviously I only done one on the plate. I could probably do, you know, if it's going to take that amount of time, I might as well make 20 as make one, but it was just an experiment to make sure the machine worked. I wasn't really bothered whether this was a fail or not. I just wanted to make sure the machine worked, which it seems to, as long as you don't cover it in resin. So the question now is, will an M coupling go in that slot, and will this fit inside the bottom of a wagon? Even though it is a bit wonky now, but yeah, I'm not sure, because I didn't touch it until it came out of that, so I don't know whether I bent it with my thumb, didn't realise, and then set it in. Oh well, you live and learn. Okay, so that little adapter is designed to replace this. The whole reason for finding and printing this off is because I've got one of these that's missing. Do you think I can find the friggin' wagon? So I've had to carefully pop one off so I don't break it. So I just substitute that with an NEM. So that goes there, and that goes in there. But we have encountered a slight issue. Now whether it's warped, but that slot is too narrow. Whoop, get it in shot, that helps. That's too narrow to take the thickness of that piece of plastic. So that bit was failed as well. It could have folded down a little bit because it does look a little bit out of square. Having said that, if it had been perfect, I would have just filed it or put a Dremel in there and opened it up. This seems a little bit fatter than the factory one, but I think again, if you filed the lugs down slightly, it would fit in. I haven't forced it in because I don't want to have equal difficulty getting it back out. You can see if it shows. Keep still, you little shit. You can see it's a little bit tight, so yeah, I could file the lugs down, that would pop in. So that bit seems okay. It's within sort of, you know, quick zip with a file and that's in. It's just that bit's a fail because it's too small, and it's gone wonky. But I'm not overly bothered. It's 80% naff because at least I know the machine works, even though it's too late to send it back. Oh well,